LaSallian in the mission statement, but if we need to broaden that through a Catholic education or something, that's would be even broader, of course.
Yeah, a term just Catholic LaSallian, because a lot of people, quite frankly, don't know that a LaSallian is Catholic.
Correct.
Making a statement there, brother. I mean, I'm just
Yeah, that's correct.
not like a Jesuit thing where there's a big question if they're Catholic or not. But anyways, but Catholic LaSallian, that might be something to sneak in there as far as, and I think our goal too is always going to be to prepare the student for high school. I mean,
yeah,
that's kind of the specific thing that we're here for. Besides faith, is to prepare that student so they will go to high school. So that would be my 2 cents on that. And I definitely think too that if this school is going to stay around, then we do need to keep the LaSallian connection. I don't think there's any question about that.
Mm-hmm.
The LaSallians have made a strong commitment to us again this year. With a really strong economic donation, $75,000 this year during this time of COVID and all that. So definitely, I think that's something that we need to keep in the mix. And I tell you, I say that time and time again. I tell Caroline this all the time. And we're a mission. If God wants us to succeed, we will. And if He doesn't, we won't. So that's where we need to hang our hat.
Excellent. Mike, did you have any thoughts on that, on the mission?
Well, I think all the commentary is good. I have nothing to add outside of what's already been said.
Okay. And Joe, what about you?
I think I'm scrolling around our website here too, to just kind of look at the messaging here. And mine's really more about, in the mission statement, I do think, of course, you got, with the radical ideas we shared, you kind of know where my thoughts are. But Bobby, I'm going to steal a little bit of philosophy from the Drexel website and some others that I've seen and looked at. I don't necessarily think that we should have non-tuition in our website. And I think in order to be sustainable, we need to focus more on that. We expect the families to be very involved. I mean, we are also funded by grants and foundations and donations, but I think the non-tuition part needs to be really looked at, because I don't think that that's sustainable long-term. And I think we need to focus more on not only getting the kids to high school, but encouraging them to come back and give back.
Mm-hmm.
And focus more on that. This is also about the community owning this school. So those would be my thoughts.
We've taken non-tuition out of the mission statement as it stands right now. And the website is in horrible need of updating, but
yeah, I just scrolled down to the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't tell which one was the mission statement, to be honest with you, Katie.
Yeah.
Because we got LaSallian down at the bottom. We don't have it at the top. We got non-tuition at the bottom, but not at the top. And we just got to get it. What is the true mission statement? But I think that, those will be my comments. I don't think non-tuition should be in it at all. And I think that ultimately we're going to have to encourage the community to be much more involved as we move forward. And that just picks up from my comments on Tuesday.
I think we should consider what Roger said, maybe putting something to the effect of preparing kids for high school in the mission statement. I think we should think about that, not necessarily do it, but give it some thought. And what you said, Joe, about bringing kids back, that is part of graduate support. We don't let them go when they leave San Miguel. We keep in touch with them. We keep doing things that bring them back to the school so that they are a part of the school community ongoing. And that's where our, alum donors come from, and our alum volunteers come from.
I think we need to be more aggressive in that we expect them
That's a
building
building block.
to come back and give
Mhm.
back to the community.
That's what that's designed for.
Well, it needs to be more explicit. I just don't see that.
Yeah, well, we need to do a better job at that, quite frankly. And we've made a change in a position, and hopefully we can create that. And I'm not trying to make an excuse with the COVID, but the fact is,
Oh, yeah.
all the ideas of bringing these people back in and gathering
Sure.
them. This is
Sure.
our new guy that's doing that, Mr. Martinez. He's talked to all the other San Miguel schools and gotten a lot of great ideas about what they do.
Mhm.
What is it you do? And you're right, Joe. The biggest thing they do is they focus on the alums. They follow up with them. Some of them that have been in business a lot longer than we have, and all. But honestly, we do. Yeah, and I take that on myself as well. We need to do a better job of reaching out to our alums and following up. And we're going to be headed in that direction with someone that's exploring that and everything. But no, that's a good point. That's a failure on our part that we really need to take advantage of once we can get them back here. Once we can get them back here and show up. Perfect example was when a sad example when Dennis Donnelly passed away. We had a ton of graduates come to the funeral, ton, and we so they're there and they're available. So yeah, we just need to do a better job, quite frankly.
And I think too, Roger, to address COVID, we need to think and act as if COVID's gone. This is what's going to happen as soon as we can do it, as soon as we can do
Sure.
it safely.
Yeah.
Right.
That's great. David, did you have any feedback on the mission statement or mission even as a concept?
Sure. As far as the talk about preparing the children for high school, I think that's so basic to what we're supposed to be doing. I mean, that's the whole point of San Miguel, is to take the children that are several grade levels below and get them equal or above by the time they graduate 8th grade. I mean, I think if we that should just be basic and automatic. I feel that, it was when I first joined the board years ago, it was kind of explained that we were here to try to help every child reach their full potential or give them an opportunity to do so. And I think that's really what we're doing. And I think it was Katie that mentioned, we can talk about mission all we want, but the key thing, and I think the number one problem and issue facing us right now is money and sustainability.
Mhm.
So, I mean, just talk, frankly, and I don't have the answers on the money sustainability, but talking about mission statement and things like that is kind of like, just use an old law school professor's term, rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic.
Yeah.
So I think that's really, we have to solve. If we can't solve sustainability, we can have the greatest mission statement in the world. It's not going to matter in 2 years.
Mm-hmm. And I agree with what you're saying, David. I would also advocate, though, that until you sort of have a vision of what you want to accomplish, it's really hard to build a sustainability plan around that. And I'm sure you agree with that as well.
Yes, yes, because you have to, when you're going to donors, you have to have a theme for the pitch and everything. But I mean, I think from the first poll that you gave at the beginning of this meeting, we're pretty much in agreement on the general theme of the mission. So I don't know. I mean, leaving aside some of the conversations we had Tuesday of some more radical proposals to fundamentally change San Miguel. But if we're, continue this course, I think we all kind of have an agreement of where we're going, more or less where the ship is headed. It's just the sustainability question, I think, is the number one issue.
Agreed.
And I think as we work in our groups, there may be some things, I'm counting on there being some things we discover that will prompt us to say, oh, well, this would be sustainable, or this effort would be sustainable. That effort's not sustainable. There's no way we can, blah, blah, blah. So now we go back and look at our mission again. How does that need to change? How is that change sustainable? I think it's kind of a ping pong, if I'm not being too stupid.
No, I think you're exactly right. And I think that, one of the expectations for today as well is that, we don't have to make any final decisions today. Really what we're doing is saying, okay, here are the decisions we want to make. Here's what it's going to take to make those. And here are our options. And this is the most important thing. Here's our plan to get that done. So some of the discussions that we get into today, or looking at changing the mission statement, I mean, we can change 2 or 3 words. We can make that decision today. But if you want to radically change what San Miguel is doing and what San Miguel looks like, that's not something to make in a 2-hour meeting on a Thursday. That's more something that a group of people may get together, look at the feasibility of it, crunch some numbers, talk to some people, and then bring that forward. So what we'll do today is say, yes, we know that needs to happen. And so then by whatever date, the board is going to examine that issue and make a decision moving forward. So that's really what we're here to do today, is to put all of those things on the table and get a plan to get them going.
I'm seeing this as the plan to get to our plan. Is that correct?
Yeah.
It is. It
Okay.
is. And to use the Titanic analogy,
Oh, please don't. No, I was just teasing. We
I
don't want to sink.
No, and San Miguel's not sinking.
No,
But
I know.
San Miguel is at the point where, the iceberg is ahead. And
It
if
is.
you're not looking out for the iceberg and you don't know that it's there, and you're not talking about how you're going to reroute around the iceberg, that's when you're going to hit it. And so we are sort of at that point where we're 10 hours away from hitting the iceberg. So let's talk about how we're going to reroute, and let's talk about how we're going to make sure that everything stays safe.
So because I'm in a particular bucket, I'm in the fundraising bucket, if we will. To me, sustainability means, how are we going to pay for this?
Mhm.
If we can't pay for it, we don't need a mission statement, because we're not going to be here. But we have such an unclear message going forward to go out and try and sustain. I'm starting to not even know what the message is. It's hard we may do this, we may do that. You can't really go out and say we're one thing, and then 6 months later, those donors are kind of going, wait, you kind of shifted gears on me. So to me, I think the sustainability question, it comes first, and then we build we define what we want to be, and then we build the program to that, not go through and make all these goals and expectations of like the fundraising program, which so much of that is going to rely on, we haven't even made a decision whether we're going to move forward with Dancing with the Stars or not. That's a huge, huge component of sustainability. Mm-hmm. So if we make the decision, Bob and I can go through this exercise today on the fundraising and things and benchmarks and things like that. But if we're not going to do that event, that completely changes the landscape of sustainability, financial sustainability. And we are on such tenuous ground financially. We're shuffling and saving and pinching pennies. And Roger's looking at the budget every single day to think of ways to save. And so I guess my frustration, or not really frustration, but sort of my confusion in this exercise is, I feel like we're going through a lot of steps for a what if, and as opposed to spending more time discussing the what if and then getting the steps behind to support that what if. I could be maybe it's just me. I will take ownership of being confused, but I'm struggling with that. So before we go into the